Hey everybody, it's Jared Turner. I'm in Center Point, Texas. Across the street from me is the old Camp Verde General Store, which is a really cool stop if you're ever in the area. The actual Camp Verde is about a mile west of me. In May 2022, I recorded the very first episode of Monumental History in Vicksburg, Mississippi, covering Douglas the camel. In that video, I mentioned old Douglas was part of something called the Texas Camel Experiment and that it deserved its own episode. Something called the Texas Camel Experiment. It actually predates the Civil War and is honestly worth its own episode. We'll get to that at a later date. Well, 3 years and over 40 episodes later, we're going to uncover the fascinating and peculiar story of the Texas Camel Experiment. This is Monumental History. The U.S. Army utilizing camels dates back to early suggestions in the 1830s to help navigate the inhospitable conditions of the American Southwest. An early supporter for camels in Washington, D.C. was a Mississippi senator named Jefferson Davis. That is the same Jefferson Davis who would later become president of the Confederacy during the Civil War. But before that, he was the 23rd Secretary of War for President Franklin Pierce. With this new position, he was able to convince Congress to appropriate $30,000 to purchase camels, and it was decided they would be housed here at Camp Verde. The camels not only met but exceeded expectations. Compared to mules and horses, they could haul more, go further, and required much less nourishment in harsh environments. So what happened? Why doesn't the Army have the Camel Corps? Unfortunately, several factors. One, and I can't believe this was a real thing, was mule lobbyists from Missouri who sold mules and did not want the Army to buy anything else for competition. The biggest blockade was the capture of Camp Verde by the Confederates in 1861. This is how regiments like the 43rd Mississippi got old Douglas. When the Union regained Camp Verde in 1865, the camels were of little interest as funding for Reconstruction took precedent over the camel experiment. It also didn't help that the camel's biggest supporter was Jefferson Davis, and he was persona non grata after the Civil War, along with anything that he championed. Camp Verde was decommissioned in 1869, subsequently ending the camel experiment. Some were sold, some ended up in ranches, others ended up in circuses, and some were even set free, and reports of feral camel sightings happened for decades across the Southwest. If you'd like to learn more, a great quick read is the United States Camel Corps. And if you're ever in the area, stop by Old Camp Verde General Store and Restaurant. While officially the Army may have looked at the camel experiment as a failure, it's not entirely true, and to be honest, it's not fair to the camels. The camels more than demonstrated their usefulness and ability to adapt to the harsh conditions they were faced with as noble ships of the desert. I'm Jared Turner, and this is Monumental History.